Jimma Orangwa. The Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and his wife, Nonye, gathered family, friends, and well-wishers to show appreciation for God's benevolence in their marriage for the past 30 years. A Thanksgiving Mass was celebrated by Peter Cardinal Obaleke at the Governor's country home in Sofia to mark the milestone. Government House correspondent Ejike Abana filed in this report.
In a speech, Governor Soludo appreciated God for the gift of being alive to witness the day and basked in the euphoria of what God has bestowed on himself and the wife 30 years after. He said that the celebration had become an annual routine in the family to celebrate God's abundant grace and mercies.
My national chairman and the wife, the former governor and his amiable wife, the incoming senator of the Anambra Center. Special grace of God. Kafana Abiabai Tata. Ndebai, Kalibai na Senobai. No, and thank you immensely. Thank you immensely. I can get one opportunity to thank you and to celebrate you, Your Excellency.
In a homily, the Bishop of Ikwulobe Catholic Diocese, Peter Cardinal Obaleke, spoke about those who died while following God and charged Christians to be followers of Christ, showing love of Christ and living a Christ-like life. He harped on the importance of having good intentions, which matter a lot to God, telling the governor that though some people may rise to present him strategies, he should present them to God, but ultimately work according to his conscience.
We must, in season and out of season, live our Christian lives with all the consequences. Doubtless, it will be more comfortable to adapt ourselves to the situations, the common situation. Okay, what are they saying? How do they feel? Even if contrary to our convictions and your understanding. Such situations in which we need firmness of character. That is what we need, most especially in our country today.
Speaking to the press, the Deputy Governor, Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim, prayed God to continue to bless the marriage, just as he advised young couples to emulate Governor Soludo and wife. Wife of the governor, Mrs. Nonye Soludo, advised young couples on loving and understanding each other in order to experience blissful years.
Yes, it's 30 years today. 30 years ago, on the 26th of December 1992, we wedded here in Sofia. So it's 30 years and we thank God. And my advice to the new couple, the up and coming, is that they should build their relationship on love. They should place God first. And they should always remember that they are two different people.
Former Governor Willie Obiano and wife, National Chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Ozomkpu Victor Oye, the member representing Dunukofia, Njikoka and Anocha Federal Constituency, Honorable Dozie Nwankwo, Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Dr. Pascal Abodike, members of the State Executive Council, among others, attended the mass celebration, which featured renewal of marital vows and exchange of rings. From Isofia, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Anambra State Deputy Governor Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim has assured that the Professor Chukwuma Soludo administration will commission more roads in the state and will complete all the projects in due time. The Deputy Governor gave the assurance during Christmas service at St. Lawrence Anglican Church, Mbalko, in Oka South local government area. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo tells us more.
Tigavni Bezinku re-emphasized that the present administration is out to serve and work for the state, said that Ndi Anambra's expectations from the government will be actualized. He attributed all the successes already recorded by Soludo's administration to the ability of the government to put God first in all things, and expressed hope that God will not fail them. Dr. Benzin, while wishing Ndi Anambra Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year, called on Christians to use the period of Christmas to show love to others, especially the vulnerable and downtrodden in the society. Earlier in a sermon, the vicar of St. Lawrence Anglican Church and Archdeacon Mbuku Archdeaconry, Venerable Chukwode Ezobi, who spoke on the topic, the grace, the dominant note on Christmas, reminded Christians that the life and every good thing they have, including their salvation, are made possible through the grace of God, encouraging them to honor God with their lives. Venerable Ezobi cautioned Christians, especially the young among them, against celebrating Christmas like others who see the season as a time to commit atrocities, even as he prayed for God's protection and blessings on them this period and throughout 2023.
Our advice to the Christians is that the Christians should understand that Christmas brings joy, freedom from guilt and sin, freedom from satanic oppression, so that when we celebrate Christmas, we will have that convincing faith that God, because of the demonstration of his love through Christ, that we are freed from all shackles and bonds of the evil one.
Renditions by the choir, thanksgiving and testimony featured at the service. From St. Lawrence Anglican Church, Mbuku, in Awka South Council area, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
Over 59 million naira worth of farm input and implement have been distributed to about 200 Anambra state farmers profiled for the 2022-2023 dry season rice farming. The input, which included water pump and its accessories, selective and non-selective herbicide for rice farming, improved certified rice seeds and fertilizers, were distributed by the federal government IFAD VCTP to farmers under flood intervention strategy. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike brings details.
Inaugurating the exercise at Agricultural Development Program Office in Awka, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Foster Ifejiofo, described the exercise as hope to the hopeless. Dr. Ifejiofo affirmed that with the inputs into Anambra State economy, there will be multiple creation of wealth, as the average rice production per hectare will result to over 1,900 tons of rice into Anambra markets.
Ọkụkọ ihe a na-enye anyị ka ọ ga-ahụ IPA next year ọhụrụ Anambra good Anambra State out of that $5 million.
The Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Ms. Chiamaka Anake, who disclosed that they have been looking forward to the inputs, defined it as one of the numerous assistance for farmers, which they are not taking for granted. She promised the release of government cash counterparts contribution, since agriculture remains Governor Chukwuma Soludo's top priority.
So once again, we are grateful on behalf of the Governor of Anambra State, on behalf of our farmers, we say we are grateful. So this is one of so many partnerships we are actually looking to enhance with multilateral agencies, federal government, just to ensure that Anambra State is not isolated. We deal with a lot of these people, and we also kind of try to see how Anambra State can be a core beneficiary in most of these interventions across Nigeria and around the world.
The National Program Coordinator, Federal Government IFAD VCDP, Dr. Fatima Aliyu, said in response to the effects of flood and in an effort to provide succor to participating states, the VCDP reallocated funds and set aside 250 million naira to provide provided agro inputs and equipment to affected farmers to carry out dry season farming. Dr. Aliyu, represented by the Knowledge Management and Communication Advisor, IFAD VCDP, Mrs. Vera Onyaka Onyilu, said further to this support and more, the VCDP will deploy climate adoption strategies to reduce the effects of future floods on farmers. She commended Governor Soludo for his commitment and support to VCDP in Anambra State, while appealing for continuous payment for government cash counterparts, and assured their unwavering support and collaboration to improve the livelihood and income of state farmers.
To teach you good agronomic practices as well, so that your yield will be more, so that at the end of next season you would have made more money to put back into your business, and that is the only way you can come out of poverty. So don't disappoint me, and don't disappoint VCDP.
The State Program Coordinator, Federal Government IFAD VCDP, Mr. Nnamdi Agwuncha, who found that they lost about 15 of their farmers to the deluge, announced that the inputs are for 1 hectare of rice farm each and charged beneficiaries to put them into good use, as a monitoring team from Abuja will come next year to monitor the usage, progression and yields. For some of the beneficiaries, including Chief Clement Onwachu and Mrs. Bridget Oji, the inputs reawakened their spirits as they promised to put them into good use to achieve food sufficiency in the state. Dr. Aliyu and her entourage had earlier paid a courtesy visit on the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Ihe Jiofo, who appealed to federal government IFAD VCDP to integrate its activities into the state agenda of regenerative agriculture for a healthier living. In Awka, Chibuzo Bidike, ABS News.
Journalists have been called upon to always bear the interests of the society in mind while discharging their duties as the watchdogs of the society. Anambra State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chukwudi, made the call during the 2022 end-of-the-year party and award presentation day of the State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists held at the Council Secretariat in Awka. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo reports.
Professor Chukwudi, while commending the efforts of journalists in nation building, acknowledged their powers to build and to destroy through their reportage, encouraging them to always abide by the ethics of the profession so as to effect positive change in the society.
I want to congratulate you for this occasion and enjoin you as well to hold forth positively, know the right tenets of your profession, and follow it as seriously, because the society depends on you.
The chairman of the Anambra NUJ, Dr. Odogwu Emeka Odogwu, and the vice chairman of the union, Comrade Ngozi Obileri, thanked members of the union for maximally supporting them since they assumed office, encouraging them to continue to be professional in the journalism work, even as they prayed for God's blessings and protection on them in the remaining days in 2022 and the year 2023.
We are grateful to God. God will continue to lead us and lead members of NUJ to do better at the end of this year. By next year, we're expecting more grace upon us from God.
I can say we are blessed to have received this kind of cooperation from them. All I wish them is good tidings. I pray God to bless each and every one of us, especially this season. Pray God to guide and protect us, especially in this insecurity period in Southeast. And for the NUJ Anambra State Council, it will only get better by God's grace.
Chairman on the occasion, Professor Emeka Ezeonu, rated journalists in Anambra State high in playing their roles as the voice of the voiceless, encouraging them to always strive to conquer evils that prevails in today's society with their daily reportage. In separate remarks, the traditional ruler of Umuawolo in Awka South Council area, Igwe Joel Egwuonwu, his Osomala Ogbaro Council area counterpart, Igwe Chukwuemeka Awogu, and the one-time president of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Chris Eluomono, commended journalists in the state for their daily efforts towards reshaping the society for the good of the voiceless, reminding them of the need to remain unbiased in covering the forthcoming general elections. Also speaking, the chairman organizing committee for the event, Comrade Joy Mbachi and the secretary of the committee, Dr. Njideka Ezonyejiako, appreciated the event sponsors and members of the union for their support in making the event a success and used the opportunity to call on the public to always support journalists as their contributions in societal development cannot be overemphasized. A guest at the event, Barrister Helen Mbakwe, asked Nigerians to take their destinies into their hands and vote wisely during the elections so as to elect people with their interests at heart and not money-bagged politicians who are only after their own selfish interests. The event featured installation of new patrons of the Anambra State NUJ as well as award presentation, during which Comrade Alfred Ajayi of Purity FM won the union's 2022 Ethical Journalist Award donated by Professor Stella Okunna. In Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo reporting for ABS News.
With the 2022 matriculation and capping ceremony, 175 Year 1 students of College of Nursing Sciences, St. Joseph's Hospital, Adazi Nnukwu, in Anocha local government area of Anambra State have become full-fledged students of the institution. Out of 120, they started the preliminary training session, PTS, in a nursing department of the college. 75 were successful, while in midwifery department, there were 100 of 129 students were successful. Correspondent Joseph Iwocha reports.
The event commenced with Pontifical Holy Mass officiated by the Catholic Bishop of Awka Diocese, Most Reverend Dr. Paulinus Eze-Okafor. In his homily during the Eucharistic celebration, Bishop Eze-Okafor reminded the matriculants that services of nurses and midwives are necessities for a healthy living across the globe, reason they should work hard to justify resources spent on them, as well as quality of training they receive at the institution, while urging healthcare services providers to continue serving humanity according to the dictates of their profession. The prelate called on government to do more to address challenges in the Nigerian health sector to further stem the tide of brain drain in the sector. Bishop Eze-Okafor noted that services of nurses and midwives are highly sought after even outside the country, but asked successful ones to stay back and help improve the nation's health sector. While commending the school management for infrastructural and other developments in the institution, the bishop, who is also the proprietor of the college, assured continued support to the institution.
Are being trained, they're expected to go into the world and serve the humanity according to their profession. So I use this opportunity to appeal to the government at all levels to do their best to make sure that these young people who have really, at the end of the day, their formation and training that are qualified are given a place to practice what they have
Anambra
learned.
State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afamo Obidike, who announced that Governor Chukwuma Soludo administration will soon direct employment of more people in the primary healthcare sector, noted that the 175 matriculants is part of efforts to ensure steady supply of quality services of nurses and midwives, while stressing that better working conditions abroad fuel brain drain in Nigeria. Dr. Obidike noted that Governor Soludo is passionate about improving the health sector, evidenced by salary increment for healthcare providers, which he said has helped to prevent industrial disharmony.
Industrial disharmony strike, as we call it, is something that in the developing world will continue to pop up based on the fact that people will continue to demand for increase in their salary and the better working conditions. But we're able to, with the help of the Governor, Prophet Charles Chukwuma Soludo, who is very passionate about the health system, we're able to sort their major problem, which are about increment in their salary.
Administrator of the college, Reverend Father Jude Iboka, Provost, Mrs. Francisca Atakulo, Head of Nursing Department, Mrs. Mary Michael Ezenwoba, and President, Alumni Association of the college, Mrs. Ngozi Onwukaike, who noted that the college has continued to produce quality nurses and midwives that are flying the institution's flag all over the world, advised the matriculants to work harder for the tasks ahead. They re-echoed the call on government at all levels to pay attention to challenges in the health sector, reminding that the poor masses are at the end of receiving end of the brain drain occasioned by poor economic and working conditions of healthcare workers.
The thing is just for the government to pay attention to healthcare givers, to the nurses, to the doctors, so that they will not migrate to other countries, because our people are suffering it. that people are suffering. So
Two of the matriculants, Miss Priska Obi and Miss Catherine Ifebuko, say the ceremony is one of the greatest things that have happened in their lives, promising to do their best to improve healthcare services upon graduation. From the College of Nursing Sciences, St. Joseph's Catholic Hospital, Adazin Nuhu, Joseph Ebocha reporting for ABS News.
And the national scene as fear of a global economic crisis spreads across the regions, the World Bank has warned that even a moderate heat could tip the global economy into recession in the coming year. In its review of 2022, the bank said the global economy is in its steepest slowdown since 1970 and that consumer confidence is already suffering a much sharper decline than during the run-up to previous global recessions. The report observes that the confluence of crises that defined the year has continued to hamper global growth. The fear of recession is a top economic theme across markets, with investors bracing for a possible contraction of gross domestic products in the coming year. The economy has witnessed a restrictive monetary environment in the year, with central banks across the globe insisting on going on with the measures to rein in post-COVID inflation at the cost. The World Bank report also highlighted the lingering impact of COVID-19 on the survival of especially citizens of poor countries, saying the pandemic dealt the largest setback to global poverty reduction efforts in decades, even as the recovery has been largely to track. And on the foreign scene, jail, the former South Korean President Lee Myung-bak has received a presidential pardon, cutting short his 17-year sentence on corruption charges. Former President Lee was on a list of more than 1,300 people who received the special pardons from the perspective of broad national unity through reconciliation, tolerance and consideration. The 81-year-old Lee, who in June was granted a temporary release from jail due to his age and deteriorating health, is serving 17 years for bribery and embezzlement. He was found guilty of creating slush funds of tens of millions of dollars and accepting bribes from Samsung Electronics in return for a presidential pardon for its late chairman, Lee Kun-hee, who was jailed for tax evasion. A self-made man who was appointed head of a major construction firm at age 35 before entering politics. Lee served as president from 2008 to 2013. He steered the country through the global financial crisis and won its bid for the 2018 Winter Olympics, but was criticized by opponents for undermining the nation's democratic standards and freedoms of speech. South Korean presidents have frequently ended up in prison after their time in power, usually once their political rivals have moved into the presidential Blue House. The 2022-2023 Nigerian Professional Football League season will kick off on January 8 with teams divided into two conferences. It's an abridged league which the Interim Management Committee, IMC managers of the competition, hope will help the country end the season on time and rejoin the continental football timetable. The IMC, in a statement, said tomorrow's draw which will usher in the new season, will be glamorous, and it is integral to its strategic plans to add value to the MPFL and attract more followership and incorporate sponsorship. According to IMC Chairman Gbenga Elegbeleye, at the heart of the plans of the invitation of the former international and MPFL players to the event, which holds at Sandalia Hotel, Abuja. He said the IMC secured the approval of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, to hold a draw for an abridged format of the season through a memo to the clubs. Remember that you can follow ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television Oka. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now, a quick look at our major stories. Anambra State Governor Soludo's wife has celebrated 30th wedding anniversary.